What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down something with Tesla SPY in the overall market and talk about some very important levels. But please note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And don't forget to smash the like button. Anyways, for the markets, I just want to mention that Tesla got a very, very nice pump today alongside the broader markets as we saw SPY push towards not too far from all-time highs. But the thing that's worth mentioning is the fact that resistance has been very tough at the current level we're at. And now the question is, what kind of reaction are we going to get? So I'll talk about that in just a minute. I do want to mention that Tesla got some good ratings from these analysts like Blair. They came out and they said that Tesla is giving Apple esque vibes. So it's actually a good sign for us, and we're starting to see some more buy ratings coming out. There wasn't a price target that was given by these analysts, but they're saying that Tesla is once again a nice buy at these levels. They're talking about why the energy storage business is a very, very underappreciated asset for the company, and it makes them very, very bullish for its long term. So that's a good piece of news that came out from these analysts right over here. On top of all of this, I want to mention that we're about to have our bill auctions come out. It might cause a little bit of volatility. Besides that, there's not really a whole lot else coming out for data for the rest of the day. But don't forget, tomorrow we have the PCE data reports. That's also going to be very important. So, what do I see for the markets? What do I see for Tesla? I tried to adjust the charts a little bit, and it looks to me like we actually have this resistance right here that's now acting as our tough area. Tesla attempted to break through this only to reject a bit. So we went up to about 215. We were not able to hold above 212, which is the bare minimum for me to see this thing bounce, which is a sign of weakness. Now, Tesla's not necessarily rejecting or like dumping or anything like that. It's kind of shuffling near this 210 area. And I think we're going to likely continue to do that for quite some time. But to turn back up, I want to see it try to break past 212. Look at support at 208. And as of right now, Tesla's just shuffling. It's very flat. And that's because we kind of lack necessary volume to really get this to move. And we're kind of flat. So if you look at the way we moved today, we pumped, then we dumped, and we've been just consolidating since. We got to try to reclaim at least 210, if not 212. If not, we're at risk of dipping to 208 and 205. So I think that Tesla may continue to shuffle in this area, could decline a little bit, and we'll just have to be very, very patient nonetheless. But like I said before, we have this tough resistance on Tesla. We have a possible wedge that could be developing. This could be a bigger wedge. So if Tesla were to dip a little bit lower, we'll see if we eventually try to break out of this. We haven't done it yet, so we have to give this some more time as resistance is kind of tough. Now, for SPY, on the other hand, I am seeing a lot of strength, but there is one issue. Um, Despite the fact that we're making a full-on V-shaped recovery, the issue is we have this tough resistance at 563. If we do break that, we're looking for 564.6. If not, we're just going to continue to shuffle. But just notice that we have a lot of rejections. We have 1, 2, 3 rejections that happen at 563. And historically, between 562 and 563, SPY has gotten these rejections many, many times. So you want to be very, very careful here. We still have this range between 563 and 565. SPY tends to reject historically every time that happened so far. And then every time we hit 555 to 558, we do see SPY getting bought back up. So for now, we're looking at this tough resistance. We'll have to see how SPY reacts to this. If we don't break through this, we could be retracing back down closer to 560. So we'll be watching to see if we could break above 563 or not. If we fail to do so, there could be a small retracement. So I'll be watching that very carefully. For ES, we went up to about 5650. Now, notice that this is also tough resistance. Every time we hit the 5650 zone, we do tend to reject around these areas. Even like right here, we're kind of struggling to hold above it. So you can see how that's a tough resistance. But as long as we're above 5625, we're going to be fine on ES. We still favor the upper end of this range. So watch support at 5625 and 5600. So far, we're favoring a nice move. For others out there like Nvda got this huge jump yesterday all the way down to, 115. Then we push back up to this 122 area, and we're kind of flat right now. We're still down only 3%, which is not that bad for NVIDIA standards. We know this thing can move easily 5, 10 to 10% on given days. So, in my opinion, we dumped down at 7% yesterday. We were bought back up a little bit today. We're only down 3%. And we have 122 as our resistance zone. Our support zone is going to be at 117. I think we're just going to shuffle between this area for a couple of days. I think Nvidia is going to be stuck for the time being. For Bitcoin, we're back in the green. We did dip quite a bit only to rebound. So I was talking about this in the morning. We're going to be looking at resistance at about 61,000 200. If we break that, then we're going back up to this imbalance towards 62,000. If we reject, you'll be tipping. So far, we're doing a good job at holding up. For NQ, we're pushing quite nicely. We have this tough resistance around 19,700. Keep in mind, the last two times we hit this, we did reject, and our support's at 19,000. Sorry, our support is at, let me double check this, 19,500. I was correct. So 19,500. We're stuck between 19,000 and 500. Between there and 19,700, we're going to shuffle. Whichever way we break will determine the bigger move. Otherwise, we're just range bound. QQQ made a nice move to the upside, approaching this resistance around 477, the level we called out. If that breaks, our next target is going to be this 480 area, and support happens to be at 475. So we'll see if this could hold up. I think that we pushed very nicely, but resistance is kind of tough in this 477 area. So we'll see if we return to 475 if we shuffle, so give it some time. For Aapl, we're continuing to break out. I called out 233 in my video in the morning, and as you guys can see, we're approaching this nice imbalance up here. So I think that we came very close to my 233 target. It's acting as resistance. Watch support at this 232 area. If that does not hold us, I think we could be dipping back down to 231 flat. So I'll be watching to see if we end up getting a little dip back down to those levels. So be very careful and very mindful of that. For the IWM, we're, like I said, we're back up to the 220. I said if we hold this trend line, look for 220 and also 221. If we lose this, we're going to be dipping back down to 216. So we're doing a good job at holding up. For Coinbase is trying to push. We're going to be looking for basically 198 as our resistance, and then we have supports down here around 192. So we're favoring upside for 197. We could be pushing a little bit higher for that. For others out there, such as Amazon, we got a nice bounce. We're going to be looking for 174.5 as resistance. If that breaks, we're going up to about 177. If we don't break 174.5, we tip back down. So look for a little bit more of a push. On Meta, we called out to 524. That's where we went to. If we hold above this, we're looking for 530. If not, we could be dipping to 520. So we're kind of shuffling around there. Microsoft is trying to push for 422. If you reject, we're looking for 415. And Google is still shuffling at 166. It's still kind of stuck. So give this some time. With that being said, the market's doing a good job at holding up, but just note that resistance is going to be kind of tough on SPY. And if SPY and QQQ do get a small rejection, of course, Tesla is going to be impacted as well. So with that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. We're going to be looking for this resistance at 212 for Tesla. We're just shuffling around this 210 area. We have this resistance right over here in this zone, which is what's kind of like slowing Tesla down. But so far, it's showing some good signs of life, and we'll hope that we get some kind of breakout. So we'll give this the time it needs. I thank you all so much for listening. Please have a great day, and let's see how well Tesla holds up. We may continue to shuffle for now, but then we'll give it all the time it needs. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys very soon in a couple of hours, and peace out.